Good morning, everybody. I'm Sylvia Scott, as you know, and I am talking to Tish and Snooky while they're in Florida. They weren't able to come be with us today, so they agreed to answer a couple of questions on video, and you're going to see them before you see everybody else. So, good morning, ladies. It's good to see you.
Good
And-
morning. Good morning, Sylvia. Great to see you and great to be here, even though we're not in person.
Yes, and we have 125 people today, 100 teenage girls and college women, and about, well, no, we've got more than that. Yeah, and then about 40 adults, maybe more. So this is a great day, and we're really excited about how it's all coming together. And so many young people are interested in entrepreneurship, and the older women, the adults are looking for, ways to improve their own businesses. I want to find out first, what steps would you suggest to following for starting a business from ground zero like you did? So if it's this day and age, what are the steps that you would say to starting a business?
Well, luckily, it's very different nowadays compared to what it was when we started, because back then it was in some ways way more difficult because we didn't have the internet at our fingertips and all this knowledge out there, and all these trial and errors that other people have gone through paved the way for you nowadays, and it's a big benefit.
It is.
Yeah. We had no business education when we started, and I wish we had. And I recommend that highly, getting as much education as you possibly can, doing as much research as you can. It's all out there nowadays on the internet. We kind of learned by trial and error and figuring it out and having a lot of common sense. But
And yeah, a lot of trial and errors. And the other thing we would suggest is just talking to other entrepreneurs that you actually trust. Don't talk to anyone you don't trust, because they might just take your idea and run with it, which has happened to us in the past. So it has to be, trusted advisors, so that's very important.
Well,
yeah.
So what did you do that you are glad you did now? I mean, what did you do back then when you were starting or even moving up that you're glad you did it?
I'm so glad we just jumped in and did it.
We we didn't think twice, just did it. We said we want to have a boutique, and we're going to open one and be the first punk boutique in America. And we just did it because we didn't know any better, maybe.
We didn't have any business experience except for like having a Kool-Aid stand when we were kids. But we just did it, and that's what you have to do. You have to jump in with both feet, and you have to make sure it's a passion, something you love to do, because you're going to be married to it. It's going to be with you 24/7, haunting you in your dreams.
Haunting you in your dreams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, did you get to meet all the celebrities that came into the store?
Most of them, yeah.
I would say 90%.
We missed Meryl Streep when she came in. One of our employees got me her autograph.
But yes,
we did meet Cher and Elvis Costello and Tony Curtis and
all of the Eurythmics.
So many people. All the bands.
Salt and Pepper.
So
everybody.
Yeah. So did that help you, encourage you to keep on being in a band, or is that just instilled in you to keep?
It's in us.
We're just natural hams, so we, we're still doing it even now.
I see that on Facebook. Yeah.
So, and Prince was in our store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we missed him.
Oh, well,
but he bought something. He bought a bunch of things.
He did buy something.
So that's great. So what would you do now? What would you do different aside from taking business classes or getting business?
Well, we would be a little cautious of who we run our ideas by, or, get to do our manufacturing, because you really need to have trusted people, or as we said before, they'll take your good idea and run with it. So I
Mhm.
mean, that's one of the things. Um, uh, the other problem we had back then was we never did inventory.
Oh,
So we didn't know if we were, being robbed blind,
which
or
we were.
at some points, yeah. At some points we were being, there was a lot of theft.
Yeah, we were way too trusting back then of, manufacturers, vendors, employees, everything. We were like little lambs
So
going into the wolves' den when we'd go to these manufacturers, and we went to one and gave them all our ideas, and they just took them and ran with them and did it themselves
and launched it right before us. So
yeah, they kept us waiting for a year for our product that we had ordered from them. And right before they were going to give it to us, they launched their version of our product at the same trade show where we
at
were,
a third of the price. So you always have to
knocking us off before we even launched the product.
yeah.
So
Before
we
we were in
learned
the
our
market.
lesson.
Yeah.
We get everything in writing now. We,
And-
have a great lawyer. Our
And-
lawyer is such a great asset to the company. As soon as you can afford a lawyer, you should get one, because
So how did you find a lawyer? People are always asking me that. How do I find a lawyer, a good lawyer?
how did we find him?
through Tamar.
Oh, through another
We had an advisor who turned us on to our lawyer Everett, and we've had him ever since. And our lawyer before that was given to us through one of our sales reps. So
Yeah.
word of mouth is usually good. If somebody else thinks that this lawyer is wonderful, you could try him out. But it's also a matter of chemistry as well, and you always want to take that into consideration. You also want to have all the controls that you can have on your business, as far as finance and inventory and anything else related to your business. And now it's so easy. It's way easier than it was, and it keeps getting, more fine-tuned and
Yeah.
easier. If you have remote employees, you can have, certain systems put in place that can, track their productivity and all of that. So it really helps when you're in a business nowadays, and a lot of, businesses are remote.
So is that, how did you, so do you have business advisors now that keep you up to date on all the changes in a software and everything going on, like you're saying, with technology, with productivity, and, keeping everybody on track?
Well, we have different advisors sometimes, but in general, you just tend to hear about these things, and people try to sell you these things. So you find out about them pretty easily.
Okay, yeah, that's true. So in your journey of starting a business, what were some of the high points that really encouraged you to keep going? And then ask you, what were the low points where you thought, I might quit? So let's hear the high points first.
Oh,
well, when
good.
celebrities started coming, into the store,
That
'cause
was an endorsement.
yeah, and word of mouth, it was just amazing. And yeah, people just told other people. We were lucky that we got a lot of press at the beginning, because we were the first punk store in America. So like, we were covered by every TV station, and every magazine and newspaper covered us. And it was great, because we had no money to pay for PR or
Yeah,
anything like that.
Yeah, we didn't pay for. We did
got
one ad
all
once.
this free advertising and all this kind of celebrity endorsement. And we were good at finding cool stuff that nobody else had. So at Halloween, we had a line around the block out the door. We had to have a doorman because we had all this great kind of theatrical makeup that nobody else had. And at
Our
Halloween, everybody
clothes-
wanted it. And
Our clothes were like costumes, and for a lot of people who weren't
they still
who
are.
weren't who weren't rock and roll people, our regular clothes in the store were like a costume to them. They wanted to be a rocker or a punk rocker or whatever. And so they would come to our store and buy wigs and outfits. And then when we went into wholesale, we
Right.
still had all that celebrity endorsement because, somebody would go on TV and say, oh yeah, I put Manic Panic in my hair. And in all the magazines, they would feature our products. So we were very fortunate that we were liked and that our products were liked.
Well, did
So I
anything,
think that's another thing that's really
Yeah.
important is to understand that you're the face of the business. And
right,
people are a lot of times buying your products because they like you and your what would you call it, your views, your
your integrity, your character,
your character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your integrity
yeah.
and your character, like we always
your personality.
and the personality, and we always supported no testing on animals and
Mhm.
vegan products, and we were always rescuing animals and finding them homes, and
We still
and we
are.
still do.
Yeah.
But we they liked who we were and what our company stood for and still stands for 47 years later.
Right. So what did you learn? This wasn't on the questions I was going to ask you, but as we're talking about
Uh-huh.
that, and I see this picture of your mother with you two by your mother. So what did you learn from your mother that you could take into business? So these people, some of these the teens that are listening or watching us today, that they might learn from their parents and take it into
Right.
business. So what did you learn from your mother?
Just about everything. She was a commercial artist. So very early on, we played with paints and glitter and, were very creative and loved being creative and loved performing. And she wasn't really a performer. That came more from our father's side. But
Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody's telling us we're beautiful. We're had to come
We're
outside
standing out by
because
the sidewalk.
because everybody in the house is too noisy. It's a whole family thing. So anyway, our mother was so precious to us and taught us never to give up because when I was 5 and Snooky was 7, our father moved back to Argentina. And we were left high and dry, and she had to support us from nothing. And she never gave up, always kept going, went back to school when she was in her maybe 40s, late 40s, and then again when she was in her 60s because she had to change career. And she was one of those people who just never gave up and always taught us never to give up. And I think that was the biggest lesson we could learn.
She also
Right.
taught us about integrity and honesty and always being forthright and trying
Doing
to
what's
always
right.
do the right thing.
Right. I think
And-
that's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And the fact that she was a single mother and and that she was spending time with you.
Yeah, as much as she could.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
we
she was working all the time. We were, what do you call it, latchkey
Yeah,
kids.
latchkey
We were
kids.
let ourselves in, and she was working, but she was with us as much as she could, and she just loved us. And I think that was the key. She just loved us and supported us in anything we did, encouraged us no matter what. We, be in these crazy bands, and she'd come and see us, and she was our number one fan and supporter.
Yeah.
So how did she get you involved in the Girl Scouts?
I guess it was probably because we wanted to get in the Girl Scouts.
It was peer group pressure at school. All
I
the
mean,
other,
well, what kids didn't want to be
everybody,
in the
all
girls?
the girls were in Girl Scouts, so we wanted to be in Girl Scouts. So,
And it
that's how we
probably
got
gave her an extra hour, not to,
in.
but yeah, in general, we came home from school and, had to fend for ourselves and lived on TV dinners and, frozen dinners and stuff. So
Not much different than some kids do today. So now, what were some of the low points that you considered stopping?
Well, we never considered stopping
ever.
Okay,
It didn't
good.
cross
All right.
our mind.
It still doesn't cross our minds. People say to us, why aren't you retired? And what's that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
we
there
never,
have been like lots of low points, when we thought, oh my God, what are we gonna do? But we just always figured it out. We had all these competitors. When our mother was dying, this competitor came out who originally was trying to call his knockoff product Manic Color. And
in the same jar and everything, and was
wow.
showing it
and he had the nerve to call us and ask us to distribute it. And he said, I'm calling it Manic Color. We said, you can't call it Manic Color. That's half of our name. And he was so arrogant and said, I can call it Manic Color. I can call it Panic Color. I can do what I want. I've done my homework. But our lawyer made him stop. He could not call it Manic Color. And it was like, there was always something to fight against.
always someone.
And
to
he
fight.
had a lot of money behind him. So he
Way
launched
more
this
than us.
competitive product, and he'd go into stores and put it on their counters on consignment, and he'd, grab people at trade shows and say, oh, do you sell Manic Panic? Well, that's just a knockoff of my color, and you should buy this. I invented it. And just all these lies.
And told everybody that told all sorts of stories about Snooky and me, like that we just were in a little dump in a basement someplace, and that we were hookers, and everything he could
anything he
think of.
could say to make a sale and discredit us, but
nothing stops us.
Yeah,
we're like the ever ready bunny. We just keep going, and
we just always figure a way around stuff. And I think our mother taught us that too, how to like make something out of nothing, and how to be resilient and figure out another way. If you can't get in the front door, you can go around the back door or crawl through a window or whatever you have to do.
And our father is the same.
Do you think it helps because there's two of you working together? That you trust together? Yeah.
Definitely. Because we can it's nice to have a partner, because you're not alone. I mean, it's nice to be alone too. Some people prefer that, but for us, it's always been this way. So we're used to it, and it's, worked for us. And I think it works for a lot of people.
Right.
But some people it doesn't. Some people just, they want to make the decision, and that's it.
Yeah. I understand that, but I don't like doing that anymore. I want somebody to, when I hit a rough spot, I need to talk to somebody. So what advice would you be giving people that, some women who have been in business for a while and now they're feeling stuck in a rut? And did you ever feel that way, that you felt like you just didn't know where else to, you were kind of stuck, maybe stuck on colors, or stuck with employees, or anything?
I think
lots
of times
there's always going to be something, but again, you just have to have the energy to continue, and to make sure that you're still going upward instead of downward. And I think that's really the trick, not stagnating. Just, if you need, I think one problem with entrepreneurs is that they don't take enough breaks. We don't, and we know we're very guilty of it, but I feel like sometimes, if I just go away, even if I'm on my way to a business trip and I finally get, some time by myself on the flight, all of a sudden things start coming clear, and you think of ideas, and you're a little more refreshed. So we have to remember to sleep and take a break here and there and try to regenerate,
Recharge your batteries.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
delete
right.
some stuff.
Right.
And maybe delete some toxic people out of your life or out of your company.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yes. That's a good
that's
point.
very important. Yes, because there are toxic people and we've had them, and they've brought the whole, not just us, but the whole company down because of their toxicity. So it's very important to weed those people out.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, ladies, thank you so much. I'm not going to
Oh,
take up any
well,
more of your
thank you.
time. We all appreciate it. But I know you've given
Oh,
some
thank
good
you.
advice to everybody this morning to start off the conference. And
thanks.
thank you, and we'll talk to you later. I really
Okay,
Oh,
great.
and yes, the girls wanted to say thank you for their scholarships.
Oh,
They're
they're
very
very
welcome.
welcome.
So
Yes,
happy we
Northfield
could
High
do it.
School was one of them. So
Great.
Great,
And we
great.
wish everybody luck, everybody in their endeavors.